Good morning, everyone. This is Nathaniel. I just wanted to make a quick video about the latest release. I've already made a dozen of new videos about pretty much everything about butt, about the porn, about about a couple of things. I didn't upload them yet because for a few reasons. The main reason being that, very honestly, I'm going to be serious here for a moment, but I was very shaken by the latest release. I'm extremely happy we got them. Don't make any mistake. Like, wow, like Kayla. Kayla. Just to hear him say that, that's spooky as hell. Like that's what I would imagine, like from like a horror movie, like a psychopath is in the house, like some horror movie, and he's like, Kayla, come here. That's what I would expect, basically, if Kayla was real and Lauren went to the house and, like, I don't know, like every door and window was locked and Kayla had to hide, she had to hide. We're making fun of it, but that kind of stuff really happens. She's in the house and she has to hide from Lauren. Like, Lauren goes to the house and he says, come here, I want to kiss first. And then he starts making out with her and he goes into his perverted shit, the stuff he wanted to do with her. And basically, Kayla changes her mind and she's slapping and she says, no. And she says, Kayla, I came all the way here. Stop joking and stop joking, That's the kind of stuff Lauren would do if Kayla refused to do his dirty fucking stuff. He would say, hey, Kayla, I drove all the way here. I burned almost a quarter of my gas tank. So don't fuck, okay, Kayla? Don't fuck around. Come here. And if she said no, then she would run away and she would try to hide around the house, She would try like to hide under his bed or in her closet. And I can just imagine like Lauren going around the house, around Kayla's house, and he's trying to find her and he's like, Kayla, or more like, Kayla, come here, princess. Mr. Penis wants you to give him a kiss. Again, we make fun of that, but that's horrible. That's fucking disgusting. But that's what would have happened if Kayla was real. So, to go back to the new release, I've had a lot of thoughts, but most of my recent thoughts about Kayla was actually harmful. I felt really shaken to the core by the new picture. And I'm coming to the picture here. Look at her. Look at that. That's a kid, that. Look at her very closely. That's a great pic, by the way. Very well taken. This is probably the ultimate definition of a girl. She looks about 10, 11 on that pic. And that's the first pic Lauren had. And we know that because in the Lornography he said, I love a picture of you with your pink dots. But look at that. That's a kid. Okay, there's no mistake. If you look at some decoy, like if you look at some decoys, some girls are like 16 and they look 20. Okay, we can say that. We can say that the morphology, the jaw, the line, the breast, of course, the hips. But here, Kayla, there's no mistake. Even if let's say you're Sean Hernandez, like you're the biggest pedophile sympathizer in the world. I'm not saying that Sean Hernandez is that person, but let's say you're the biggest. Like you don't like pedophilia, but you want to defend those guys. Basically, you want to find them excuse. You want to rationalize what they did. Let's say you're the biggest defender of Lauren Armstrong. Until you see that pic, you might have not really a point, but you might have a little teeny bit of stuff to go on. Because you might say, yeah, some girls are 16, but they look 20. And I've known some girls, they were 16, and they could go to bars and get drunk, no problem. They look much older. But when you see that, zero mistake possible. Like you cannot, even Sean Hernandez should come here and apologize. If I was Sean Hernandez, and thank God I'm not, after seeing that pic, I would admit I'm wrong. Like, all right, fuck Lauren Armstrong, Look, that's a child. There's not even like even the slightest hint of a mistake that Lauren looked at that picture and said, wow, this is a child. I'm going to rape her. That's what happened. You can't even begin to find an excuse. She looks 11. Look at the face. Look at the breast. Look at I shouldn't say that about kid perhaps, but I guess I can. This is a kid, okay? That's, how the fuck can a man be excited sexually by that? That's a serious question. I'm really wondering, like, how can a man look at that and say, I want to come in your mouth? How? I'm serious. Like, how did Lauren look at that and say, You want to see Mr. Penis? How? How? That's not even something I would even consider in the universe that someone could think like that. And it also leads to the point that, very honestly, Lorne, he's not even sick anymore. He's more than that. He's a fucked up bag of, I don't know. My vocabulary in English is not good enough, but he's a fucked up piece. He's a monster. He's a demon. He's a evil. He's pretty much evil incarnated. I would say that about Lorne today. He's Hitler. He's the Hitler of pedophiles. He's to well, maybe not as bad as Hitler. I won't exaggerate, but Lorne, when you see that pic and you read the chat log, Lorne is a fucking, it's one of the most evil men on earth. Like the simple fact that people like Lorne are allowed to exist. Like if alien came and they happen to fall onto that, they would be like, wow, humanity is a fucked up race. Like, that's a child. And she's so innocent. Look at her. She's so sweet and innocent. It's just a child. But, girls that age, most of them, at least every girl when she's that age, the last thing she should think about is sex and penis and all that stuff. She should be thinking about dolls and movies and going out with her friends and going clothes shopping. That's what Kayla should be thinking about. That's what you expect her to be thinking about at that age, not sleeping on the floor naked and taking a bubble bath with a man like 36. You would expect her at this age to be collecting dolls and going to sleepovers with her friends. And I don't know, what did girl do at that age? When I was that age, all I thought about was watching TV with my friends and playing video games and eating stuff and going to the pool and stuff like that. And when I saw the pic, it really hurt me because when you read the chat log, you don't know what Kayla looked like. You know what Lorne looks like, and that's hilarious. But you don't know what Kayla looks like. But when you see her, it had kind of an effect on me. Like, I saw Kayla, and I cannot read the Lornography the same way again. Just imagine him, and Lorne says, do you want me to come in your mouth? Just look at her. Or do you want to kiss my penis? That's fucking, it did something in me that I can't really put my finger on. It really hurts me to say that to a kid like that. What's wrong with you? Honestly, why did they even let you out of jail? Why? You're going to be a danger for more kids like that. I would have put Lorne in jail for the rest of his life. I think Lorne, and I'm going to be pretty intense here, and some Lornographers will probably become angry at me, but I think Lorne is a good candidate for the death penalty. Honestly. Like, I look at what he said to that girl, that young girl, and I think that I think the world would improve significantly if Lorne died. Of course, our church would never recover. Our church would receive a fatal blow. Like, if Lorne died, first we would stop receiving like the new updates, the new pictures. But let's face it, like, that's a question I asked to a Lornographer. I'm gonna make a video about it like in a few days, but actually I'm gonna keep it for the video. I'm gonna be a tease here. So just to conclude, when Kayla goes into the chat room, why does she go to the adult chat room? And if you read the Kayla's profile, she sets her age at 67. And that's clever because if you don't set your age about 18, they won't let you go to adult chat rooms at all. So she sets her age to 67. And I'm surprised Lorne didn't bring an argument in his lawsuit like, well, I thought she was 67. She said so in her profile. I'm going to try to find it. It's worth seeing. Kid's profile. That's where it is. No, it's not here. It's right here. She says, even on that pic, she doesn't look 16 years old. She doesn't look 18 at all. She looks pretty much maybe 12, 13 on that pic, I would say. But look what she says. Female, 67 years old. Lorne should have taken a screenshot of that and said, well, her profile said she was 67. I thought she was 67, She does look 67, like... But without joke, I was really shaken because when you put a face, that's the young girl that would have gotten abused by Lorne. And it's not like it doesn't happen. It happened. I did talk about it a little bit. It did happen to my cousin, and they weren't much older than that, and they weren't much like they were abused and molested and sexually abused at around that age. and it really screwed them up, okay? It really messed them up for the rest of their life. I'm not saying you cannot survive child abuse, but it's fucking hard, okay? And the fact that they were molested and abused exactly like Lauren planned to molest her really screwed their life. And they weren't lucky, you know. My cousin got abused pretty much. I did talk about it, but you know, in the countryside and in my country, sexually abusing a child is not a big deal. Like if you do it, if you sexually abuse a child, not a big deal. You don't get any real consequence for your action. You'll get, if you're ever convicted, it's very rare. Like the police don't really care about children being sexually abused. It's usually shrugged off under a rug, okay? But I've known, when I was young, I was like 10, 11, I've known some cousins, and we would see each other because my parents moved. I don't exactly see my cousin like every week or every month. So we would see each other maybe twice a year, during the summer and during the winter at the New Year's Eve. And I saw a cousin, and her name was Jessica. And she wasn't much older than that. She looked like that inside a little bit, not exactly, but she looked like that. And we had fun, like we really had fun together. Like we didn't see each other often, as I said, maybe twice a year, maybe 3 times a year. But when we met, we would go and have fun. We would go like climb and play outdoors. I remember, like in the countryside, one good thing about it, you have a lot of room and a lot of cool stuff. Like you have abandoned you know. You have like a old building, mangers, stuff like that. You have animals. That's awesome. Growing on a farm, you have animals. And we would have a lot of fun together. So I went there, I think it was in summer. And we had a lot of fun. I was very happy to see her. And I saw her again 6 months later, and she was completely different. She was much more sad. That's how, looking at it today, sad, angry, and today looking back at it, I would say broken. She didn't want to play anymore. She didn't want to jump everywhere. And it's not just aging up. It's not like she grew up and she didn't want to go outside anymore. It's really something changed. She was changed, and the happy, you know, the gleeful kid, eager to explore and have fun, had turned into a young woman that was very, and she wasn't much older than that, but she had turned into a very bitter and angry young woman. And at the time, I was like 10, 11, so I didn't know why. I was just sad. Like I was sad that my cousin didn't want to play with me anymore. And a couple of years later, I found out that she was molested, you know. And that turned her from a happy kid to a very depressed and broken child. That, you know, it's a lot of suffering, it's a lot of agony. You agonize and you don't really get any much help. The guy, he got prosecuted years later, but only because he did that to another child. The guy that molested her abused another child, and that's how we knew. Like he confessed to the police that yeah, he had abused not even just her, but a few of her cousins. And again, in my country, child abuser, it's not a big deal. It's not prosecuted. I'll make a video about that one day. So when I look at that picture, it reminds me of Jessica. And today she's not doing well. Okay, she was a bright kid. She was a smart kid, and now I'm a little bit older. And she was a smart kid in school. And today, look, she does a small job like cashier. She doesn't have much money. She lives paycheck to paycheck. She lives in a shitty apartment. It really screwed her life. So when I look at Kayla like that, Kayla is no longer a reply on the screen. She's a person now. She's a child. So I cannot ignore her. And honestly, that makes me hate Lauren 1,000 million times more. So that's it. That's pretty much a short reflection on the new revelation. I think people call it the Lorngasm. That's a good name. I'm going to have a lot more to say. It really shook me, okay, to see the picture, to see like her happy face and just a happy child. Like honestly, if she was my child, she's the kind of child that I would spoil her. I would like tuck her in bed every night. She looks like a good child. I'm sorry to say it, but she looks like a very easy child, meaning that for a parent, if you treat her nicely, she's going to treat you nicely back. That's the kind of kid that if you give her a lot of love, she's going to give you a lot of love back, you know? So if you say, for example, not love like Lauren, like if you go to her and you say, hey, sweetie, you're very happy. I'm very glad of you. I'm very proud of you. You're doing very well in school. I really love you. You're a really, really good daughter. She's gonna be able to grow like very well, and she's gonna be able to develop very well. That's the kind of child that she's a bit blissful, you know. about life, at least until she meets Lauren. Lauren wants to destroy that. She wants to take that child and turn her into his sex toy. And that really, honestly, when I first started the relation, I really laughed. But now I look at that picture, the thing he wanted to do to her. And if you read my latest book, the picture book, the things he wanted to do, the things he said, it's beyond my wildest comprehension. How the fuck? If I was Lauren Armstrong, like if I was Lauren Armstrong and I started, like let's say we're in 2007 and I start chatting with her, and if I was Lauren Armstrong, and let's say I woke up tomorrow morning and I'm Lauren Armstrong and it's September 30, 2007. If I was Lauren Armstrong tomorrow morning and I've been chatting with her for a couple of weeks, if I was Lauren Armstrong, I would read the archives and honestly I would kill myself. Like I would look at what I did and I say, wow, I wrote that to that kid. I wrote stuff about coming in her mouth, stuff about taking a bath, about spanking. No, I didn't write the stuff about spanking her yet. Wow. But all the stupid shit about how long are you gonna be like, I'm gonna keep you naked at all time, I'm gonna put my penis in your vagina, all that disgusting stuff. Honestly, if you have a shred of decency in yourself and you realize you said that, maybe not kill yourself, but apologize and fuck, go to counseling. And real counseling, not the kind of, I think I'm going to get off the internet and get to counseling, not that kind of counseling. Like, no. Realize that you have a serious problem. And that's not a problem like not having money, or a problem like your car was broken and you feel bad, like, oh, my car is not working, I have a problem. That's a problem if you're Lauren Armstrong, you're fucked up maybe beyond repair. If you go see a therapist, especially if you don't have a lot of money, you cannot afford a good therapist, you're probably not going to get help. You're too far gone. When you end up saying the kind of stuff that Lauren said, when you end up saying that kind of stuff to a child, you're too far gone. Science is not advanced enough to help you. Well, technically it is. You could castrate yourself. Like, honestly, if I was Lauren Armstrong, let's say, again, I want to be very clear, like, on what I say. I use a very precise definition. But if I woke up like, I'm gonna show up, like, let's say I go to sleep tonight and I pray to God that doesn't happen. Like, let's say I go to sleep tonight and I wake up and I open my eyes, I look at my watch and it says, oh, we are September, let's go a bit further, like, to make sure we understand. I'm October 3, 2007. So I woke up tomorrow morning and it's that date and I realize that I'm Lauren Armstrong. Well, first I would flip out because my hair is gone. But let's say I wake up tomorrow and we're that date, and then I look back at the chat log and the thing that I said, I'm going to remind, the thing that I said, while I was driving to work today, all I could picture was you sucking on my penis and me having my finger in your vagina. I loved it too. Honestly, if I woke up, and I'm repeating myself, I want to be very clear. If I woke up tomorrow and I was Lauren Armstrong and I read the stuff that I read, I would take a pair of scissors and castrate myself. Honestly. The things that he said are amongst the most disgusting stuff I could imagine. I wouldn't even say that to an adult. I think it's gross to say that to an adult. I certainly would never say that to even a girl younger than me. Like, that's fucking creepy. But to a child, say stuff like that. And when you see the pic, did you think about my penis too? You can even touch my penis on the way back if you want to. You think she wants to, Lauren? Look at her. You think that she fantasized about, oh, I'm going to touch Lauren's penis while we're going back to his apartment so he can rape me for an entire weekend while my parents are gone? No, okay? No. Sorry I'm taking long. I'm telling you, the new pictures really shook me. When you put a face to Kayla, it changes everything. And again, I might look like I'm complaining. Not at all. I'm very, very happy that we got to see her. Because very honestly, when you look at Casey Monroe, that's the evil midget. When you look at Casey Monroe, when she was young, like, that's how you write your name, like Casey Monroe Decoy. Like what she looks like. Like, for example, here. Don't know if you see well. He had a lot of shit. I can understand that a man is sexually excited by that. Absolutely. I'm not sure how old she was, but that's a gorgeous picture. She's a very pretty woman, very amazing hair. I suppose that you're not exactly on that picture. You cannot be sure that she's 18. But let's say that Lauren was chatting to her. That's the picture we had. And you can see the face that you can guess that she's probably at least 20 just by the development of her face, her skin. It's hard to say because you don't have a full body shot. She could be 14, I guess. So let maybe she could be 14. So if I was chatting with a girl on that online, I would make sure of her age. Like, but she does look young, but not that young. But if you look at some picture, what's her name? I think there's an E at the end. No, that's Justin Bieber. That ruined the video right there. It's Munrio. KZ Morio. Is it Morio? And she has a website. I kind of lost it. I guess here. Visit page. I'm KZ. She doesn't write her last name. Oh well. But when you look at KZ, I'm gonna conclude like that. When you look at the band, I really want her website. Morio maybe. I really want it. Like I'm ruining the video. But okay, let's say you look at that one here. I can absolutely understand that you're excited by that. Like I can definitely understand why a man would be sexually excited by that. So what did I want? I lost the progression of the discussion I wanted to say. Damn, I feel stupid now. I'm just gonna stop. But let's say that picture, like wow, she's a very pretty, gorgeous young woman. So I can understand that. Let's say Lauren is very deluded and he thinks he has a chance with her. That's what I wanted to say. Like for that kid, that's how I pictured Kayla to be. Like before we knew what Kayla really looked like, because she was the decoy, you know. Morrow, that's her name, Casey Morrow, not Monroe. Sorry about that. I feel like a traitor to our cause. But that's what I pictured Kayla to be. And if you look at Casey Morrow, Kentucky Sting, she does look young, but that's how I pictured Kayla to be. That's pretty much Kayla to me before the Lorngasm. And she does look young, but she doesn't look that young. She looks like a child, but she's 19 on that picture, 19 years old. And, you know, she could pass at 19 years old. If she go to a bar and she says, yeah, I'm 19, and she shows her driver license, there would be no problem. I'm not saying she looks old, but she definitely doesn't look like this. That she could never pass for 19 years old. She could never pass for 14 years old. She's a child. So when you see that picture, you give a little. I'm not saying that you're sympathize with Lauren, but you say, well, if this is Kayla, what Kayla looked like there are some men that are into their 40s and they date women that are 19. So if that was the picture of the decoy of Kayla, it's not as bad as this picture. When you see that picture, there's no mistake to be made. This is a child. And this is what Lauren wanted to have sex with. Again, how are you excited by that picture? Like, I know maybe that picture, when you know she's 19, but even if you don't know, like if I look at that picture, how old would you say she is? I would say she looks between 16 and probably 21, 22. Like, you know, like Safraskan was 25 and he said he looked 19. Here, she has some defined features in her face, the cheeks, the neck, the way she stands, the skin too, the way she's formed. If you look at the physical development, she could be a very mature 16 years old, or she could be a very young looking 21 years old, because we all grew up at the same rate. But when you look at that, there's you cannot possibly think that she's older than 12 or 13. Let's be generous. You cannot think that she's older than 13 years old. So when you see that pic, it changes everything, because now you know that Lauren was not excited by this, but he was excited by this. The difference is critical. This is the Kayla for me. And I'm going to make a video like she looks nothing like her. The eyes are brown. I wonder what they told the decoy. Like, okay, Casey, we have the next pedo. His name is Lauren. You're Kayla. He thinks you have blue eyes, so we're not exactly sure how we're going to pull it off. Let's hope you don't notice. He didn't even notice he had blue eyes. That he didn't have blue eyes. Like, oh, you have blue eyes. Look at the eyes. It's not even. She doesn't even remotely look like her. Like, how the fuck could he think that he wasn't Kayla? Look at the eyes. Holy fucking shit, Lauren, you're fucking retarded. So those are my first reaction to the new leak. This changed everything. Everything. Like, I have the last ounce of sympathy about Lorne vanish when you see Lorne. Like, this could be my child. This could be your child. She's just an ordinary child. There's nothing. I'm gonna stop here, but fuck you, Lorne. I still love you because you're fucking hilarious. But to want to do what you did to a kid, and again, you might be thinking, yeah, but I always knew that she was 13 all along. But again, you saw the boss. To me, Kayla was this woman, and she looks older than this. When you learn what he expected Kayla to look, and that is that, it changes everything. Okay, because now I'm repeating myself. I really gonna stop. But thank you for watching, and have a good night, everyone. It was fun talking to you. I'm gonna have a lot more coming for you in the coming days.